The assassin is the pinnacle of stealthy death. Striking fast and hard from the shadows, entire strongholds have been known to fall silent to these professional killers without a single guard realizing what was happening. They are masters of both blade and bow and never leave home without a stash of poison in their satchel. If need be, they can fall back on their light armor for protection and a pair of poisoned daggers, which they wield in a flurry of slashes that leaves most opponents dead or dying, bleeding out, poisoned, and sometimes even paralyzed as they feel their final moments fade into the void. Growing up alone on the mean streets of Hellstrom, the assassin had a deep-seated desire to kill, for money and pleasure, but was rejected as a shadow scale. Angry and depressed, she carved a senseless and bloody path through the Black Marsh, Morrowind, and Eastern Cyrodiil. It wasn't until she arrived in southern Skyrim and heard about a particularly unpleasant orphanage operator that she finally felt the pangs of conscience and morality. The slow and painful execution she inflicted on Grelod sparked a series of events that she could not have predicted, and led to her finding the home, the family, and the life she had always dreamed of.
Nothing here after all.
I wore the shrouded armor that I received when I joined the Dark Brotherhood, along with Muiri's ring for crafting better poisons. For weapons, I carried a Daedric bow and arrows, Mehrunes' razor, and Valdir's lucky dagger. Alright, let's take a look at the perks that I've chosen for the assassin. So starting with alchemy, I took Mastery 2 of 2, the Advanced Lab, to make more powerful potions and poisons, although I didn't actually end up making any potions, just stuck to the poisons, which Poisoner also helps out, and Bottomless Cup allows us to simply deal more damage with poisoned blades and bows. Although this, I will say that this occasionally, when you use a selection of different poisons, occasionally Bottomless Cup is a pain, because you can't replace an existing poison. You have to use up all the charges, all 10 charges if you have 100 in alchemy. You have to use up all of those before you can apply a new poison. So that does sometimes cause a bit of a problem if you want to switch between different types of poisons. Next we have lockpicking. I took Mastery 1 out of 2, and then I took all the perks in the Bear Trap tree. I won't list them all off because you can just look at them yourself. I will say though that bait is a bit of useless. It only gives you a once-a-day power that lures the nearest hostile target within 200 feet to a location of the nearest bear trap placed within 50 feet. That only works during does not work during combat or conversation, and it lasts for 60 seconds. I found that quite often the enemies would walk up to it and not actually activate the trap, and then it was just a waste anyway, and it only works once a day. You'd probably be better off if you're using shouts to just use what's it called? Anyway, the whisper one, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but the whisper one that causes enemies to go towards where you shout, that would probably work better. But you do need bait in order to get the revenge, which allows you to pick up and carry 3 bear traps instead of 1 at a time. So you might as well just spend the point in bait so that you can get the extra traps. Next we have sneak. So I took 2 out of 2 for mastery, and I took a whole bunch of extra sneak attack damage perks, including sneak attack, assassin's blade, and backstab. 2 out of 2. Problem solver. And all of those basically make your sneak attacks just do insane amounts of damage. Finally, you get Laughing Ghost, which is a power, an at-will power, which is quite fun. As long as you're not in combat, or at least the target is not in combat, you can teleport through the shadows behind a target and attempt a sneak power attack with your weapon that deals double sneak damage. Now when you add that to all the other things, I'm pretty sure I didn't run into a single enemy that could withstand my sneak attack. Like, I'm doing hundreds of points of damage. I also took Fog of War, and right behind you, and Clean Escape, just to make sneaking a little bit more effective. There's a lot of other perks you could take in this tree, but I ran out of perks as usual. I'm starting to think that like an uncapper, a level uncapper or something like that, or just using the legendary option on skills is probably almost a necessity with the number of perks that are in Ordinator. Next up, we have light armor. All I took in there was Masterytude of 2. Then we have archery. I took Masterytude of 2 as well. Steady hand, 2 out of 3. Didn't bother taking the extra 1 for the increased slowdown, and just the 25% is fine. Clean kill, extra damage against targets with full health. And snipe. Shooting targets you haven't shot within the past 10 seconds inflicts a critical strike that deals 3 times critical damage, and any weapon enchantments applied by the shot are twice as effective. I didn't bother taking anything in the crippling shot line because I was using this strictly for sniping targets from long distance, so I took long shot, 3 out of 3. 80% more damage to targets beyond 50 feet. And the damage increases the further they are away. Thread the needle, 2 out of 2, or ignore 50% of the armor if the target is not moving. And finally, ambush predator. After standing still for 6 seconds with a bow or crossbow out, you deal 25% more damage until you move. Not that that's really necessary, because we're dealing so much damage, almost nothing can withstand even a single shot. Lastly, we have one-handed with Masterytude of 2, bite marks 3 out of 3, which goes very nicely hand in hand with poisoned daggers. Revenge 1 out of 2. I should have really saved 1 perk and put it into 2 out of 2 for the extra speed on dual wielding attacks, but as it was. Finally, Man of War. While dealing dual wielding in combat, you build up a battle rage with each attack, gaining 1% extra attack damage and 1% bonus attack speed. This would be, I think this would be more effective for an actual dual wielding build, not one where you're generally in stealth. You'd want to do it for a knife fighter type of build. I should have actually taken that perk and probably spent it in the second point of Ravage. Finally, I'd just like to thank Lullers for his very generous donation during the stream while I was building the Assassin. I would also like to thank every one of you for watching, for liking, for commenting on this entire series. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a great 6 months, I think, almost 6 months worth of content. If you have missed any of the builds that I've done out of these 21 classes from Oblivion, I encourage you to click the link in the description to the playlist and watch through them all. Please comment and like them if you like them, dislike them if you dislike them, and if you have any hints, tips, or whatever for other people that might be playing those builds, post them in the comments. Thanks very much.